Welcome to the Release Show. I'm your host, Brittany Sconyers. On today's show, we have Nicola Mitchell. She is the founder of Girls Who Brunch and is also a best-selling author who made the Forbes list as a change maker in 2019 and Black Enterprise in 2015 as one of the 5 follow-worthy bloggers to watch. She aims to stimulate the human mind with literacy skills and produce various pieces of literature for entertainment and learning. She achieved this dream via her independent publishing company, NCM Publishing, where she has released numerous titles that featured on various best-selling lists worldwide. Most of her work revolves around complex relationship issues and Mitchell's compulsive desire to see women overcome challenges. She has penned 16 novels, published 125 titles, and has helped over 900 authors and independent publishers publish their books successfully. As a victim of domestic violence, she understood firsthand how at-risk youth are significantly less likely to successfully transition into adulthood due to the lack of resources and opportunity. This past led her to create Girls Who Brunch, a nonprofit that combats this cultural epidemic by addressing low-income communities and sponsoring girls in foster care and sex trade victims and teen moms. In the end, one can see that she is an essential asset to humanity, as her literacy work is soothing to the mind. And her nonprofit organization has impacted many lives. Let's welcome Nicola. How are you?
Hi. You make me sound real good, girl.
I love it. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm good. Just happy today.
That's great. So let's jump right into it. What would you say greatly influenced your passion for literature? In other words, when did you find the love for the pen and paper, and what caused it?
I was always an avid reader. I took every lit class in school, right? So I came from Jamaica, and I moved to Las Vegas to the low income area, and during that time they didn't really, Caribbean people wasn't really in at that time. They didn't know who I was, what I was, right? So I was isolated a lot. And I just threw myself into books, and I read everything. My sister, she jokes about me reading the Encyclopedia Britannica for the kids. I will sit there and read those, and I just always like to challenge my mind and challenge my thoughts. And so from there, I was always put into literature class, and then I penned my first story at 11, and I was included in this anthology at school, and everybody was like, I thought I was so proud of it, but people were like, authors don't make any money, so you shouldn't, look at that. But it just kept motivating me. And when I was graduating from college, I wrote my first book, and it was a dare. And so I thought like a dare could bring me here almost 13 years later. Yep.
That is incredible. So a dare put you to where you are now. That is incredible. So who dared you?
Girl, my friends. I was like, I'm not gonna bash him because I love him to death. To this day, we're still friends. But I was like, we were young. I was in a jacked up relationship. The most, right? And I mean, like high school chases, women and hiding in the house, and I would just note it. And so at my graduation party, they're like, you need to write a book about that. I'm like, okay. So all my friends were there because, everybody had been my wingman at one point, experiencing what was going on. And that's why I wrote the first book, and it became a bestseller in like 10 months.
Wow. Congratulations. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Millions of actors emerge every year with new books, but very few become bestsellers. What factors differentiate the bestsellers from the regular authors?
Well, I tell people all the time that, because I help so many authors put their books out, and they think that, oh, once I write this book, it's going to go best selling, but I'm going to be number one on Amazon. And Marketing and promotions and ads do help, but for me, guerrilla marketing tactics help. Like when I wrote that first book, I went on a full tour before the book even came out with the first chapter, a poster size, like the size of this, frame of the book cover. And I would go into barbershops. I would go to all these different events across the country. I worked in the medical field at the time. So the doctors in my clinic, I would say, oh, this national conference, you should get a table, I'll go. And they'll pay for the table. I'll bring the books. I'll have their stuff as well. But then I would go into these different cities, and now I'm going to the barbershops, the beauty salons, the radio stations, taking them like Krispy Kreme boxes with my book on there. Like I did guerrilla marketing tactics for real. So by the time the book came out, like everybody thought it was been out, and I've had numerous books, but was this the first book? So by the time I had book 2, that book jumped. It was like number 1 on Amazon for 52 weeks. And the appetizer when you're not his main course. And I just continued the same tactics. I would partner with different people and do pop-up shops and stuff. And again, it's just that guerrilla marketing tactics that people just forget about.
Wow, that's incredible. So how are you going to do that going forward with the world changing the way that it has and things are becoming more virtually than in person? Like you said, you use the guerrilla tactics, so you would go this place and that place. Well, right now, a lot of people can't do that. So what would you say people should do if they're coming out with a book? What's the best way to market yourself now? I know social media, but you got to know the ins and outs of social media to really get yourself in front of the people to purchase your book, right? So give us some ideas on how we can do that.
So I have a new book coming out in August, and with that, my marketing campaign is what the topic of the book. I am going in front of organizations and their virtual events. Some of them have hybrid events that are smaller, more personable, and speaking on the subject, right? So where people forget, they want to promote the book, but there's always a topic in a subject matter of the book. You have to tie that into your story. Now you have to make yourself become an expert with that subject matter. So like my new book is called What Was I Supposed to Do? It's dealing with human trafficking. It's dealing with incarceration. So I am going to those type of organizations that support that, organizations that are behind human trafficking, and I'm bringing awareness to it and then sell the book. I also am doing virtual pop-ups, virtual signings on my own platform. I'm going to do giveaways like sipping signs online, so you can buy your book and I'll sign it to you and ship it to you. Like you just have to become you have to become think outside the box, creative, and just think outside the box and in it, because there's so many people that are going to be doing things. You have to make your stuff stand out a little bit more.
It's all about connecting, right? Connecting with other people and like you said, thinking outside of the box. Even though we transition to this virtual world, we have to think about how we can transfer our business matters into this world and still be successful. I've had many guests come on the show and say they actually business has increased because of the pandemic and things like that. So you would think that it would have harmed people, but it's actually helped a lot of people too.
Yeah, like with my nonprofit Girls Who Brunch, at the end of 2019, we have serviced 8,000 girls, right? A little bit over 8,000. And then because of the pandemic and we had to go virtual, we're on a 21 city tour, and we created a virtual platform through StreamYard. And an online website, webpage with games and activities. We serviced 24,000 girls by the end of 2020. So it's like it quadrupled our numbers because we were able to have access to people that we really wouldn't have access to. But then it limited my base because I bring in girls rescued from the sex trade, girls from group homes, girls in foster care, and those entities do not have the ability to see us virtually. So now it's trying to figure out how to coordinate the two.
Oh, okay. I see it. Well, I know you'll get it done, girl. Let's talk about your publishing company.
Okay.
NCM Publishing. What compelled you to start this firm?
So when I started NCM, I did it for myself. I published my first book. I was at first going to submit my book because back in the day when I came out, self-published authors were cliche. But a girlfriend of mine ended up becoming one of my best friends to this day. She told me, just try it, just publish it yourself and see what can happen. And then if it doesn't work, book two, then you submit that. So I'm like, okay, cool, bet. So I started watching like Simon and Schuster, all these top 9 publishers and seeing what they were doing. And those are my competitors, not the other self-published authors. And I had so many authors love what I was doing, see my tactics, like, dang, how is she moving like this? And one of my close girlfriends that I was on tour with, she actually was my very first author under my company. And that's where NCM birthed from. And as right now, I still have NCM, but umbrella underneath NCM is Right Promotions. So I stopped publishing other people, but now under my own company, now I provide publishing services for other people. So I've done books for the U.S. Dreams Academy. Aaron Afal's book, The Basketball Player, I did his book. Omar Tyree, I've done books for him. And I just help independent authors, companies, and also press that do not know how to publish. They have multiple books. I am their publisher for them, and I put their books out for them.
Great, girl. You are a woman of many talents. I love it. What advice would you give people who wish to become authors and publish what's on their mind?
I always tell people to just write. I had a conference call with a group of ladies like a couple of days ago, and they're like all over the place. I'm like, oh, I just want to get a ghostwriter. I'm like, okay, a ghostwriter costs a lot of money, number one. And the tools and techniques you're going to use for a ghostwriter, you can use that for yourself. So if you have a story that you want to tell, but do not know how to release it, I tell people to use your phone. You could talk it into your phone and it'll put it in your notes, send that to your computer and just edit that. Because it's easy to talk your story out, like, girl, this dude did da 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 da. You can talk it out, right? But then once you're writing it, it's hard. So if you can talk that out and have that transcribed and put into a document, now you can use that as your base to write. And I always tell people, stop trying to recreate a book you read, like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. There are about 10 to 20 people that created that book. The author wrote it, but there's several editors, several copy editors, several proofreaders that have touched that book and made it what it is. So what I tell people all the time is just write your story, make it plain, and then there's professionals that can create it and make it the manuscript.
That's true. That's what happened with me. When I first wrote my first book, I was in like a very depressed stage. And so I had this little bitty mini Dell laptop I'll never forget. And I used to be in my bed, and that was therapy for me. And so I would like type it up, during that time. I didn't talk about it, but I didn't know how to portray my story either. But I was like, I'm just going to type. However I'm feeling right now, I'm just going to type it. And then I ended up hiring, professional people to bring it to life. And ghostwriters are very expensive because I had one too, and they're incredible, but they are a little pricey. So we have so many different ways to start a book. Like you said, record yourself, because we can talk all day. I mean, I'm on my way to work and I'm just talking in the car, so that you can definitely bring a book to life by recording yourself different times of the day, different times of the week, or whatever, to get this gift out of you, or get this story out of you. And also, go on platforms like podcasts and stuff like that to release your story, because the hosts are going to ask you all different kinds of incredible questions to help you. And you can also send those interviews to people too, to help you bring that book to life as well.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You were once a victim of domestic violence while you were younger. How did this experience influence your outlook on life and interaction with people in your later years?
Okay, so I was a victim of physical and sexual abuse, right? Violence. And for a long time, I used to think something was wrong with me, right? And I kept it inside, because that's what we're taught. We're taught to, when you do tell somebody what happened, oh, they try to hide it, like, especially in communities, it's really not talked about. I because somebody actually, I had just did an interview with Shanta Jackson, and I guess it's been going viral, and somebody hit me up on last Sunday and told me that I was a victim and blah blah blah. And I told him, I said, before you say that, you should ask, like, what happened, the whole story, because you're judging me off of a clip. But a lot of women are and girls are in my predicament, and boys and men, they're victim of sexual abuse. And when you tell somebody what happened, they don't believe you. They tell you to pray about it, or if you do say something, if it's a family member, close friend, a lot of times people don't even do anything to get rid of that. So that's kind of what I went through when it happened. And it made me feel like there was at least something wrong with me, right? And so for a long time, I didn't even want to be labeled as pretty. I hated when somebody would say I was pretty. No, call me smart, whatever. And I excelled so hard to be smart. But now, it was I was 33 years old that I realized that this was eating at me. Right. And I went to counseling and therapy. And that is actually what birthed my organization, Girls Brunch, because through Girls Brunch, I feel like that's my therapy every day. Because every time I get up in front of those girls and women in these different cities, and I tell my story and I tell what happened to me, and I tell people, look at me, like they read my full bio and they're looking at all these accolades and things, right? And then I tell them I had my daughter, I was 15. I was 14 when I got pregnant. I was raped when I was 14. I was, and you break all those things down, then these girls and women that are at this event always open up and are like, this happened to me. And it's just therapeutic and it helps. But I really believe, like, I'm not mad at now looking back at what happened to me. I believe that I don't think God made it happen to me, but I do think that I it happened to me because I am able to use that now to help somebody else. A lot of people don't know how to do that. So I'm happy that it happened. I'm necessarily happy, but I'm not ashamed of it happening to me, because I could understand somebody else and their feelings on fear, on negativity, on doubt for themselves. I understand that feeling firsthand. I'm not going to tell you it didn't happen, like a lot of people say, when you do have the courage to come out and say it.
Do you mind elaborating a little bit on what happened to you?
So I was raped the first time when I was 14. I was at church, and my choir director, I walked in on him touching somebody else, and the young lady that he was touching, she confided in me that she was finally happy here in the group home that she was, the foster home that she was at, and all the things that happened to her. So when I seen him touching her, I was like, hey, stop it. And he started touching me. And at that time, I was just like, okay, because I was kind of like the matriarch of my family. I'm the youngest of my mother's children, but I'm the oldest of my nieces and nephews. They're like all my age and down. So I'm bringing these kids to church, right? And and I just was like, okay, if it happened to me, like, I'm okay. I'm strong. I can deal with it. And I told somebody about it, and they didn't believe me that he was doing this, right? Because he's the choir director. And so he eventually raped me during church service one day, and I didn't want to go to church anymore. And I remember my family, like, they get calling me grown and fast, like, why don't you want to go to church? Because I used to be the one walking my nieces and nephews to church every day, right? And I was like, no, I'm not going to church anymore. And I ended up going to my children's father and asking him to sleep with me, because in my 14-year-old mind, I thought that was going to fix it, right? And I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter. And I didn't admit it till like last year that I didn't even know if she was my rapist or the dad's until she came out. I never said that out loud to anybody. And I remember my rapist, I told some other men in my life that were supposed to protect me, and ended up being raped again And it just happened. And I really believe like in pheromones, like your energy, you put that out there, and predators prey on that, because a lot of times now that I've been doing this and dealing with so many other people, we all have the same similar story, right? And once that happens, it seems like it just continues to happen. And I was lost for a long time. I really, really, really thought something was wrong with me. But my daughter saved me, because I was like, this is not gonna happen to her. She's gonna be better than me. And I like got this like mental tunnel vision of she's gonna be great, we're gonna be great. And she's 27 now. She is a CPS investigator supervisor for the state of Houston, Texas. Um, she just got approved for her first house. This whole house is acrylic and making mad money. And I'm like, this is a product of a 14-year-old pregnant girl. So I'm super proud of her.
You definitely should be proud. Well, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. But like you said before, I feel like we have to go through certain situations. Everyone has a different situation that they go through in order to make them who they are today. And, I've been through things myself, and that's why I am who I am today, and why I don't put up with a lot of craziness that I would have had I not gone through this. So I'm very thankful to God that I definitely went through it at a younger age, because at this older age, I don't play when it comes to that stuff, and I try to encourage others, that reach out to me and want to talk to me. A lot of my friends and people that I don't even know, reach out to me for advice and things like that. And I tell them, listen, do you want to hear what I want? Do you want to hear what's going to make your life better? Or do you want to hear what's going to make you feel better? Because there's a difference between making your life better and making you feel better. Because a lot of times people just want to feel better for that moment, and they can't handle the real and the truth. So I have to ask that question, because I need to know, where's your mind? You know what I mean? So I do believe that we all go through things to make us stronger in who we are today. And some people, come out strong, and some people don't. But I love that what you're doing with your Girls Who Brunch organization. That's incredible. Continue to keep fighting for those little girls. I love it, and I would love to, be a part of it, help you in any way I can. I have some connections with sex trafficking organizations here in Florida. I have a friend who has her own, the Movano Project, so it'd be great. She goes on mission trips around the world to help little girls, and speak to them, not just little girls, little boys too, to speak to them and to help and encourage them. So it'd be great to have that connection.
Oh, I'm open. And that's again the other part of how we've grown so fast with Girls Who Brunch, because in each city we have committee chairs, and those are the people who are like nonprofit leaders, business owners in those cities, and we're bringing in all these other organizations in one room. So typically on ground, we usually have like 250, 300 girls, and I sponsor 50 to 100 girls that are from at-risk circumstance, and we put them with other girls and just let them have a good time. And nobody knows your background, nobody knows your situation. And I think that actually is a deal breaker for a lot of our girls to become better women, because a lot of women don't even know how to communicate, because they don't, they were taught to judge and to stay to themselves and whatever. But no, I'm trying to break those generational curses with my girls right now.
Oh, yes, that is a big generational curse. It's like you mentioned before about your domestic violence, how we're like, when we do say something, people don't even believe us. Right? When you come out and you finally get the guts to tell someone, they don't even believe you. And that hurts. I remember I have a coworker who went through sexual abuse too, right? By her uncle, her father's brother. And she finally came out at like the age of 30 something. And her dad didn't believe her. He was so upset. And you would think that at this point in life, she finally got the courage to tell you, and you're turning your back on her, right? So then that's causing a conflict between you and her now. because you don't even believe it. She's not going to trust you. She's not going to want to be around you. And it just builds this process over again, right? Because she's already had to go through this and endure this for so many years. And then finally, when she gets older, she's like, I'm ready to release this. And then she still doesn't have the support. And I think that's what's wrong with the world, is that when someone tells you that, I don't care if it's a close family member, I don't care if it's your husband, I don't care if it's a stepfather, I don't care if it's a stepmother, whoever, if this child is telling you that this happened, be there and support them and listen to them. Comfort them. I know you don't want to hear it. I get it. You know what I mean? Because it's hurtful, but at the end of the day, you're doing more damage than you are good for those girls or those boys. You know what I mean? And it sucks because it happens so much. I hear this all the time. I was so afraid because I knew they weren't going to believe me, you know, and then you keep it in and you're hurting. Even though you may seem happy, you're still hurting inside. You know, and even when you get therapy, and, you know, sometimes that happens later on in life when you get therapy, you finally get the courage to just get it out and still not have that support. So now you're going back through that cycle of pain again. And I just think the world needs to, you know, put more emphasis on this topic and be more open and understanding when people are coming to you and telling you that they've gone through this, because apparently they have. It's not something they're making up. And you need to have this, you know, you need to support them, to help them, to encourage them. You know, whether you decide to get them the professional help, do that. Get them professional help. And maybe you both go there to help guide you through the situation. I know it's painful for somebody to come and say, oh, you know, if my daughter came to me and said, oh, my uncle raped her, I would, you know, uncle that you're super close with, you know, rape your kid or something like that. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? I get it. I understand the feeling that you get when somebody comes to you, but also you have to understand the other side of it, the other side of the pain of the person who's gone through it. So I just think we need to open up our ears more and be more supportive when someone tells us that they've been a victim of sexual abuse, rape, child abuse, whatever, you know, all that, mental health, all of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Tell us more about your nonprofit organization, Girls Who Brunch. What is its mission and what inspired you to create it?
So our mission, we take girls, low-income at-risk girls, and we give them a girls empowerment conference. Well, again, it's open for all girls, but I sponsor 50 to 100 girls in every city that are from low-income at-risk circumstances. And we have some training. We have when they come in, like I go into the hood in every city, because those girls are the ones who usually are not able to participate when something like this happens, right? Because it's so far, they don't have transportation. So I partner with a school or community center in that area, and we recreate their gym, their great room, their multi-purpose room, and we bring in flower walls, backdrops, red carpets, linen, chair covers, and we give them a full chicken and waffle brunch. We have fruit, drinks, we have gift bags, DJs. It's like a party. They come in, they're dancing, they're having fun. We have media, they're taking pictures, and sometimes these girls have never experienced that, you know. And then we have icebreaker games. We go to breakout sessions per age group and come back, and we do an anonymous panel session. So we take their questions. So the questions can range from how did you start your business to my brother is touching me. You know, it goes crazy with the questions, because, you know, you don't know who put the question in there. And we bring in the who's who of women in those communities to be the speakers, the instructors, and things like that. So we may have celebrities. We've had the Jacksonville Jaguar cheerleaders. We've had just Miss Jacksonville. We've had Mama D. It just depends. Wherever city we in, they want to come, we let them come and just have a good time with our girls. And again, I really believe that my motivation behind it is because someone believed in me. Dr. Sullivan from the community, UNLV Upward Bound program. He believed in me, even though I had a baby. He made sure that I participated when they stayed in the dorms for the summer. Even though I couldn't stay in the dorms because I had her, he still made sure I was there for the classes and stuff. He took me college tours. He put me in the NAACP AXO oratory competition to make sure that I spoke well and I can communicate. And I mean, if he didn't believe in me, where would I be right now? And he's still
Right.
alive. He ended up honoring me in 2015 as their Upper Bound honoree. And they did all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I need to be able to do this for other girls. Like, I have to pay it
Mhm.
forward. And so because of Dr. Sullivan believing in me, I've been able to believe in 24,000 girls.
Wow, 24,000 girls. That's incredible. So when did you start Girls Who Brunch?
2016.
And so 24,000 girls since 2006. Wow, 5 years. And it's only going to triple. I believe in it.
Yes. I
Yes.
believe in it too. We're going to St. Lucia now. We just got that confirmed. Girl, I'm like, won't he do it? And I tell people all the
Yes.
time, I didn't have a budget. I didn't even have a name when I started Girls Brunch. I met this group of girls and I was like in Charleston, South Carolina, and I said, yeah, we're going to do this. And sometimes we wait because we're waiting for the money. We're waiting for the resources. We're waiting for whatever. Just make it happen. Whatever's meant for you and God agrees, he's
Yes.
going to make it happen and multiply. And we've never had a budget, like never formally creating budgets. I'm like, okay, we've never had budget before. We just always make sure things happen.
I love that you're living your passion. That is something that a lot of people aren't doing right now. And they're working these 9 to 5s, but you're really living your passion and you're working and you're doing incredible work. And, God will bless you. Just like you say, you've never had a budget. And that's incredible because when God gives you a vision, he gives you a vision for a reason, and he's going to place everybody in your life to be able to help you execute that vision. And so, a lot of people don't fulfill their purposes in life because of fear, because they don't have faith that God's going to help them through it. And even some don't even believe. And so that's another subject. But that's what you did. You didn't have any fear. You went ahead and allowed God to use you the way that he wanted to use you. And so he's been blessing you and multiplying like you've stated. So that's incredible. I love to see people living their passion, girl. It's incredible because I know it feels so great to wake up and do these things every day instead of dreading it when it's something that you don't want to do, right? You feel so much healthy, so much more healthier, when you're living your passion. And I just love seeing other people, other women, of course, living out their passion.
Well, thank you. Yeah, like today was an amazing day already. Like the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, they're one of my partners. They're having their Girls Rule the World conference right now. They have a lot of my girls participating. I'm like 5 of them actually in part of the event. One of my babies is one of the keynotes, and I was on there this morning. And it was just like you waking up. Okay, I got my done early this morning. I'm like, okay, we got all this stuff, but to be able to say something that I created is able to help move these babies, and like I said, one of my babies is a keynote today. I'm like, come on now, come through, Lord. So it just motivates me. You're like, all right, what else can I do? What else? Because Steve and Marjorie Harvey, they are one of our partners. To say that we just got a grant in Fulton County, like, okay, that's one of our partners. L'Oreal, I was one of their Women of Worth. They're one of my partners. I'm like, okay, God, who would have thought something that I created this could happen? So my speech to everybody is just do it. Because somebody's watching. You never know who's watching.
Yes, just do it. Just like with this show, I actually started in August of last year. Some people think that I've been doing it for a while, but I haven't. And it started with a vision from God. He gave it to me about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I just wasn't in a headspace to start it at that moment. And then last year in February, I wanted to do in person interviews. Then COVID happened. And I'm like,
Right.
And so then, he told me you could do it virtually. And I thought that was incredible because you can reach people all around the world. Had I not done it virtually, you wouldn't be on here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all of these different people wouldn't be here. So I think it is so incredible that we're able to reach so many people virtually and be able to allow them the platforms to share their stories and encourage and inspire other people.
Well, I'm proud of you as well that you've done, because
Mhm.
after you guys reached out to us, to me, I was like, okay, this is beautiful. Like, yeah, of course I want to be on here. And just to see all the other people we've interviewed, you're doing kudos,
Thank
sis.
you. Thank you so much. You're the founder of multiple organizations and a recipient of numerous awards. How do you manage life with these activities without burning out?
I live off of a calendar.
Okay.
I live off of a calendar. I wake up in the morning, I work out, I pray, I meditate. But if I'm working on Girls Who Brunch, I'm working on Girls Who Brunch. No interruptions. If I'm working on the brand, no interruptions. If I'm working on my clients, no interruptions. And I have to do that. And then I turn off. I cook dinner. I cook dinner like maybe 5 to 6 days a week. People don't even believe that from my daughter. I hang out with friends. I actually live off of a calendar. And I believe that that's the only way you're not going to be able to be burnt out. If you actually make time for stuff, you have to make that time.
That is so true. A lot of people always ask me, how are you able to do all of these things? As I do a lot too. And I'm like, I can't explain it to you. It's just like you got to have balance in your life. Like you have to know how to balance yourself. Like you use a calendar. I use a calendar with my show, but other things is kind of like a memory thing. Like I block out time. Like it's me and my husband. We have these shows that we watch together. So we have certain date night with each
Yeah.
other. I take my daughter to the park and spend time with her, or to the zoo or whatever to spend time with her. So you have to be able to balance your life. It's all about work life fun balance. Like you have to balance. If you know balance, then, and you also have to take care of yourself. A lot of people will work so much, right? And self-care is really important. You have to take that time. I like how you said you wake up, you pray, you meditate, and then you start your day. That's a great way to start your day is wake up. I wake up and I pray. I don't meditate a lot, but I need to start meditating. I have a friend at work who's like, meditation has changed my life, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to start doing it. I know they have all these apps, and I love like instrumental music because it kind of takes your mind to, all these different places. So I definitely need to do that, but we also need to check in with each other too. Self-love is something we definitely need to focus on because social media will have your mind all over the place, and I think that's what's wrong with the world is that people can't focus because they're so much on social media. They can't fulfill their dreams because they want to be the next Kim Kardashian or the next whoever. You know what I mean? They want to have those lives, and I think we need to do more self-love exercises, and so we can fulfill our dreams and our purposes and not someone else's.
Exactly. Like make that time for I get a massage every 2 weeks. I get
Mhm.
I go get a facial. I get my nails done. But you have to do that. You have to incorporate that into your time. Those little things would make a great difference for your week or month, but you just have to give yourself that self-love. I steam my face, when I'm working, I'll have the steamer on my face. And just that little bit of thing will make not only beautify your skin, but also it relaxes you. So by the time you do have a Zoom call or whatever, you're like, hey girl, hi, you're looking so cool. And because you just love yourself. Yeah.
It is so true. When you actually take care of yourself or, do like the facials and stuff you feel so much better. Like I do the facials too, and I'll go get a facial and afterwards I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. But it's not even that, just like cleaning up. That
Yes.
helps you too. Just like organizing things at home, it helps your mind as well. Like these little bitty things will help you. And if people just, take the time to love themselves, I think the world will be a better place.
Amen.
Amongst all your awards and nominations, which meant the most to you and why?
Oh, the awards that I've gotten that meant the most to me. I honestly think the Upward Bound Award meant the most to me out of all of them, because it was something I said, Dr. Sullivan, I've spoke about him so many times in everything I've done. And then for them to recognize me, I was like, okay, and the kids I went, and I was the first honoree that came back and like actually conducted a workshop session with the kids, the boys and the girls. It was like 300 kids there. And it was crazy because at the actual gala, it was like the senators, the mayor of Vegas, and they're all in here, but the kids were in the back. So when I started off, I'm like, so all the kids in the back, and they were cheering. I'm like, yeah, like that was the best thing for me. And the award that was like the most impactful was the L'Oreal Award because I didn't expect it. My daughter nominated me that I didn't even know. And that it's more than the grant that they gave and it's more than the award that we received. They're still working with me to this day. Like I have an interview from them on Monday. They've gotten me on so many national platforms. They've honored me at home when the world shut down. They did a whole segment on me then. They've give us product. They just whatever I ask for, they jump in and they show out. So it was like it's bigger than just the award, but that was like the most impactful. And the rest of them were just like checklists, I'm like, okay, I give myself a checklist. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get Black Enterprise. Boom, I got it. I'm gonna give Forbes. My new thing is I want a Nobel Peace Prize. So that's what I'm working on now.
Yes, girl, you're gonna get it, honey. You're gonna get it. I'm cheering for you. And you also should do a TED Talk. Have you ever thought about that?
Yes. So I have been to do a TED Talk, a TEDx, but then when they were going to tape, I couldn't do it. But now I am really like pitching, and especially with my work with human trafficking, and I have an app coming up for human trafficking. I kind of want to do a TED Talks going that direction.
That would be great. Well, let me know if you ever do one, okay?
I got you, girl. You be the first one I let know.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Well, please let everyone know how they can connect with you.
Okay, so my name is Nicola Mitchell. You can follow me on all platforms. My Instagram is MZ_Nicola, and Nicola is spelled Nicola. And on everything else is Miss Nicola, MSNICOLA on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. My website is IamNicola.com, and my organization is Girls Who Brunch Tour. You can sign up to be a speaker. You can sign up to be a facilitator for a workshop. You can even sign girls up to become ambassadors. We have events going on. We kick off our first event April 12th, I believe. It is our Ignite Masterclass series, a 2-week series. And after that, our Girls Who Brunch Tour actually kicks off in June in Charlotte, North Carolina. And yeah, we have 21 cities. We are here. I have a new book coming out. It's called What Was I Supposed to Do? That's going to come out on August 28th. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's it.
Yes, guys, we have an incredible guest on here today who's doing a lot in the world. And so please connect with her. She's incredible. And please look at her organization, support her book that's coming out in August. And I love what she's doing, and I'm here to support her. So please remind me when your book is coming out. As I told you before, I'm pregnant, so my brain is not right. My mind is not right. So I would love to support you. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me know when you're having your baby shower. If you have, like, email me later. Let me know what you're having so I can send you a gift, number one. And definitely, I
Oh,
would
that's
love
so
to
sweet.
incorporate you on my virtual tour for when the book comes out.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. Well, it's so great to have you on this show. I look forward to continue seeing your work in the future. Thank you guys for tuning into the Release Show. See you next time.
Bye.